Good day. Thank you for joining us. I'm Wesley. I am from Make Pretoria Great Foundation. I'm here today with Ernst Roets. We are here with Lex Libertas, and he'll be telling us about his interview or what he'll be speaking on at KRAGDAG 2026. And here we have a great outcome. People have come from all over to join us, and he has some interesting things to tell us. Ernst, thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much. Wonderful being here, and thank you for what you guys are doing as well.
No, awesome. Please, just for our listeners and our watchers, can you please just let us know, what are you speaking about, what you represent, and why are you here?
Yes, so Lex Libertas is here first and foremost because we're encouraging support for the White Cross project, which we're going to take to Washington. So we're here with a petition, and we're encouraging people to sign that. We need 100,000 signatures. And people can, of course, sign it online as well at whitecrossproject.org. But other than that, we are helping with what they call the Kopskuif Atelier. It's the studio here at KRAGDAG where there are conversations, debates, panel discussions, speeches, and so forth. So we're involved with the organizing team, particularly in terms of that venue, the Kopskuif Atelier. So we're involved with all the speeches and so forth. I spoke yesterday to open the event and to talk about the White Cross project that I mentioned. And I also had a wonderful panel discussion with Steve Hofmeyer and Johan Foster about art and music within the bigger picture of self-determination, and how does music and art fit into self-determination. So that was wonderful. And then there are some great discussions throughout the day today about security, about back and close here, about America, South African relations with the United States. Tomorrow, I'm facilitating a conversation with Dr Roets about when is the tax uprising coming. So I'm looking forward to that. And then tomorrow, something that's very big is to get together with KRAGDAG. We're launching the self-governance guide, or the self-steer handleiding. And I think that's going to be good. It's a very practical document that outlines what people can do in their daily lives to take more control over their own affairs, whether that's electricity provision, whether that's water, whether it's food, whether it's education. And the whole underlying purpose is to encourage the message, or to boost or strengthen the message, that we should not wait for the government to solve our problems on our behalf, that we should go in and fix them ourselves, that we should take responsibility for ourselves. And that's a very exciting message.
No, thank you for that. It's very interesting. Obviously, both of us sitting here today, representing different, initiatives, but yet we have one common denominator and understanding, and that's the self-determination, the self-beskikking. Ons doen self. We will do it ourselves. We cannot wait for others, and it's very interesting. Even though I've spoken, behind the scenes of the interview of what we represent as MPG, Make Pretoria Great Foundation. What do you think regarding our non-profit company? Is this an initiative that needs to be ignited? Is it something that is seen as needed in our communities, in our country, in our cities? What is your opinion based on NPCs that are based on upliftment?
Yeah, I'm very excited about Make Pretoria Great. I spoke with some of your colleagues yesterday. They told me about the projects you're involved with, including just taking responsibility for issues in the community and solving it yourselves instead of waiting for the government to do that. And one of the projects that you are involved with is one that is particularly dear to my heart, and that is the Centurion Lake. Because firstly, I live there. I grew up remembering how clean the river was, the Hennops River, how beautiful it was. It was probably the defining feature of Centurion 20 years ago, perhaps a little bit more. And today, people don't want to go there because the river is so polluted. It has an awful smell. Even the shopping mall there on the river has had to make some alternative arrangements, trying to close down as much as they can of what used to be a very beautiful river. And we've seen that very clearly, that the government does not have either the will or the competency, or both, to do something about that. And the only way that leaves us with two options. We can keep complaining about that, or we can do something. And we believe that's the way forward for South Africa, is communities taking responsibility, rolling up their sleeves, saying, here's a problem, we're not going to wait for the government to fix it, we're going to fix it ourselves. And that's what's fantastic about this Make Pretoria Great. And I really hope we can see that already happening to an extent, that there are other similar institutions in other areas of the country, but we need more of that. The more we need a Make Hoedspruit great and a Make Potchefstroom great, and we need that all over the country for people to just say, well, let's look at the problems in our community and let's do something about it instead of waiting for the government.
No, perfect. I 100% agree with that. And, in my opinion, I feel as though it's the river, the Centurion Hennops River, is a great representation of where this country has come from and where it has gone. From something that was once thriving to something that is polluted, decayed, devastating. No life grows there. So what do we portray the future to be? And I feel that companies like such as ourselves, initiatives, is South Africans taking our country back from these ones that have captured it and that has taken it away from us. And I think we will fight tooth and nail because we believe that we can make Pretoria great again.
I want to add a bit on that metaphor. I think you're right that the Hennops River is a good metaphor for the problem in South Africa, in the sense that it has incredible potential. It used to be a very well-known river, and not just was it well known, but it was sort of a defining feature of the Centurion area, at least. But it has become so polluted. It has become tarnished. People love the Hennops River, but they don't want to go there. They don't want to spend time there. They're afraid for their safety around the river. The river is polluted. And I think the important metaphor here is the fact that the government has facilitated the destruction of that river. And it has facilitated the problem, the pollution, the smell, everything. And the solution then, on the other hand, as we've just said, is not to wait for the government, but to take responsibility ourselves. And I think that's where I'm often asked whether I'm optimistic or pessimistic about South Africa. And I always say that depends on what you mean when you say South Africa. I have zero optimism for the South African government. If by South Africa you mean the South African political system or the ruling party or the government of South Africa, I'm completely pessimistic. And I believe it's a realistic pessimism. But if by South Africa you mean the climate, you mean the people who live here, the cultures who live here, the surroundings, the scenery, and I want to add, our resolve to do something about our problems, then I'm very optimistic. And then this Make Pretoria Great is a perfect example of that. It's institutions like this that makes me optimistic. And then I want to add that I really believe South Africa is possibly the country in the world that is currently the best example of the power of civil societies. I'm not aware of any other country, certainly not in Europe or in America. I can't think of examples in Asia or Southern America or other African countries where there's such a strong, well-organized civil society sphere that are so actively involved with fixing their own problems. And so in that sense at least, South Africa is the best country in the world. And I think we must be optimistic about what the reasons there are for optimism, and we must be realistic about things like the prospects of government solving these problems.
No, perfect. Thank you so much. We can sit here for days and speak about these topics because, we have countless problems. However, we have solutions, and the solution is us, you and I, that have like-minded initiatives that want to ruk South Africa reg, if you want to put it that way. But Aaron, you have done wonderful work. You are doing wonderful work, and we as MPG fully support you, and we will be with you. Please invite us. If you have any following, if you have any social media, please as well let the listeners and the watchers know that where we can find you and where we can follow you. And if you are making your way to KRAGDAG, please come out, have a watch, and listen to what Ernst has to say. Just again, the times, the social media, if you can.
Yeah, so I think the most important would be to go to the Lex Libertas, as people can see, on Facebook, on YouTube, on X, on Instagram. And then I personally am also on all these platforms. But so people will find us. I have there's a Lex Libertas YouTube channel and Ernst Roets channel under my own name. We use both of them for what we're doing. And so yeah, I would encourage people to support if people are willing or able to support in terms of monthly contributions. That's wonderful. But our biggest drive right now is to get people to sign the petition for the White Cross project, which is the project we're taking to the US to raise awareness about farm attacks, about incitement of violence in South Africa, and to encourage support for solutions. And people can do that. They can go to whitecrossproject.org, and they can sign the petition there.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, we'll put that on the screen so people can see. They can like, share, follow. Please, we need your help. We need your assistance. We have a message to take across the world. And through us and with you, we will do so. And we'll be successful. Ernst, just from us, from MPG, I would just like to give you this.
Oh.
Just from us to you, to take on your journey.
Thank you very much.
And just to show our support for your initiative.
Thank you. Let me see. Oh, it's a cap. I'll put it on.
Awesome.
Thank you very much.
Wow, you wear it nicely.
I see there's some other stuff in here as well.
Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. I much
Thank you for your
appreciate
time.
it.
Thank you for watching. Wesley, signing out.